Welcome. Hello. This is Upstage Rewind. I am Chrislyn Lashington, your host, producer also of Upstage TV Show. Now, with Upstage TV Show, it's all about entertainers creating that space for us to create and perform. And what we also do with Upstage Rewind is to have those types of conversations with creatives, people who are doing things in the field of creative arts as well as performing arts in Grenada as well as the Caribbean. And of course, that includes the Caribbean diaspora. Today, we are going to be having a conversation with Grenada's newest author. Her name is Beverley Reena Joseph, and she is live with me. So you have to stay tuned because we're going to be talking about her new book that just released. It's called Scarred But Not Broken, and it actually details her journey with cancer. So it's really going to be an intense conversation we're about to have. I'm so happy that she's joining us today for that. Before we get into this conversation, though, make sure you call up everyone you know and tell them we're about to do this Upstage Rewind right now, right here on Upstage TV Show on Facebook as well as YouTube. And I have to say also big up and welcome to the Ride Along family who are joining us as well. Junior, big up yourself. Now, today's a special day. Today is the 23rd of June. It's Laura Lisa's birthday. So happy birthday, Laura Lisa. She was on one of our Upstage TV show episodes. In fact, I think it was episode 7 of season 1, giving us that calypso vibe. So we celebrating her as well today. And of course, one of my favorite songs this week is definitely that Jab Class song that Jab King dropped. It is definitely a fire one. You should check it out. It basically says, if Jab was a class, I would have more than pass. Some of us, we struggle in school with like maths or English. I mean, not me personally, but I know a lot of people struggle with maths. Maths was actually my favorite subject. But a lot of us struggled with different things. But if Jab was actually a subject in class, you would pass because every carnival, Monday in the morning, you're in town or wherever playing a serious Jab. So Jab King, he even launched a video for this song. So go on YouTube and check it out. If you scroll down on the Upstage TV Show Facebook page, you will find it there as well. All right. And be sure to keep it interactive. I'll be reading your comments. Drop some comments in there. Let us know that you're part of the conversation. And of course, if you have questions as well, we are definitely open to that. Now, this week had a lot of drama as well. Speaking of Juve, Michael B. Jordan, yes, our favorite, well, one of our favorite guys from the Black Panther movie, he dropped this rum and he named the rum Juve. Juve, literally how we spell Juve morning. He named the rum Juve, and real people came for him, calling it culture appropriation. Very interesting. Now, in case you don't know what cultural appropriation is, it's basically taking aspects of somebody else's culture that's not your own and not crediting them for it. Okay. Now, while he had the presentation of the rum and we got pictures, there was actually some details relating to Trinidad in there and the name of the rum. But trust and believe, a lot of people came out for him, basically saying that he shouldn't name the rum Juve. Even Nicki Minaj, born Trini, or I'm not sure if she was born Trini, but she Trini anyway. She even came for him and shared details of why he should actually remove the name. And he has since issued an apology, said he basically didn't want to hurt the culture and it was not his intention. And he will be renaming his whole rum. Isn't that interesting? That is the craziest thing for me. Let me know what you think about that whole thing. At first glance when I saw it, I was like, okay, this might be interesting for the culture. I have some more questions. Like, were there any Caribbean people on the team? You know, but anyhow you put it, ain't no Juve rum happening, I guess, unless it's probably somebody from the Caribbean doing it. So we'll see about that. And of course, speaking about what people from the Caribbean are doing, We have this lovely lady. Her name is Beverley Reena Joseph. She is from Grenada. She is based in New York at the moment. And she is Grenada's latest author. She is 28 years old, very young woman doing her thing. And she is here with us right here on Upstage. Welcome, Beverly.
Hi, good night. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. And thanks so much for being open to this conversation. I remember asking you like, what do you want to talk about? She's like, yeah, I could talk about anything. So I'm happy that you're open like that. Now, I saw a little clip of Beverly actually through Crystal Ned on Instagram. She was sharing stories of your book launch, which happened fairly recently, just a few weeks ago. How was that book launch?
It was actually very overwhelming, just to see the support and the people coming out and just being there. It was really, really, it was something that I enjoyed a lot. Yeah.
Nice. Now, the book is called Scarred But Not Broken. And of course, it details your journey as a cancer warrior. So we're going to dive into that conversation right now. But tell us a little bit about yourself. Of course, you're in Grenada, you're now in New York, which means that there's something that happened along those lines. And you're also an art teacher for a few years. Tell us a little bit about what you do right now, and then we'll dive into that conversation.
Okay, so yes, I've been teaching since I was 18 actually, right? I taught at
Wow.
Happy Hill Secondary and then at McDonald College. Yeah, but I was teaching art. And I was actually in Teachers College when I had to travel. I didn't get to finish, but I had to travel to come up here to seek medical attention. It was only my intention to come, shortly get what I needed to do done and then come back home to finish school. But here I am almost 2 years later, you know? So that's what led to me being here right now, I had to drop out of school to seek medical attention, basically.
Wow, and that has you still there. So you're not actively working at this moment.
Yes.
Wow,
No,
wow,
no.
wow. So talk to us about this journey though. How did you even find out that you had cancer and when did you find out?
So I found out in 2013. I was actually teaching at Happy Hill Secondary, and I had a lot of symptoms, but I had no idea what they were. But basically, what led to me finding out is the principal at the time seeing me one day on work, literally limping, and she was like, "Nah, Bev, go see a doctor." So, and then that's what led to me doing tests and seeing this doctor and seeing that doctor, and then eventually finding out that I had stage 3B ovarian cancer.
Now, for the people who may not understand what that means, especially when, we hear the stages all the time, what does it mean to have stage 3 cancer?
Okay, so the stages go up based on level of severity. So if you find out that you have cancer stage 1, then you're very lucky because minimal damage has already been done, and they refer to stage 4 as end stage. That's when probably has already metastasized, meaning that it had already moved from where it begun to other areas of your body. So me being stage 3B meant that the cancer was already fairly progressed.
Okay. And what does that mean in terms of treatment for you? Because obviously you had to uproot your life in Grenada, working and
Hmm.
everything, and move urgently for medical attention. Was it that you
Yeah.
weren't able to get medical attention in Grenada, or it was just a best option for you to travel?
Okay, so at that point, I had already done many things in Grenada. I had already done chemotherapy, close to maybe one, two, three surgeries, blood transfusion, a lot of different things over the years I had done in Grenada. And what too, I my doctor is not Grenadian. He's a visiting oncologist that I see twice every year. So he comes on a scheduled time. So me finding out so suddenly meant that he was not on island at that time to be able to, do what needed to be done. So I felt
Mhm.
things would progress quickly if I left and came up here where, I can get a different opinion and so.
Do you mind telling us what treatment is like for you? Because sometimes we hear about cancer treatment being very rigorous with chemotherapy and even other treatment options. What is a typical treatment
Mhm.
like for you at the moment?
Okay, so you're speaking currently, not the ones that I've had before. You want to know what's happening now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe you
okay.
can tell us before compared to now as well. Yeah.
Okay. So initially, upon my first diagnosis, I had one surgery that removed one ovary, and a month later, I had another surgery that removed the remaining ovary, my uterus, and my appendix. Um, Probably like a month later, I had 6 doses of chemotherapy, Taxol and Cabo were the drugs. After that, I was in remission. So I had 4 years of, I went back to work and I was living fairly normal, having my twice yearly checks. Then I had in 2017, I had another surgery that removed 9 masses throughout my pelvic area. After that, it was just basically recovery from surgery, basically you're home or you're in bed, you're not doing much, but yet still, you have to walk, you have to be as active as possible because you don't want to encourage clots or anything like that. So that was 2017. And then 2019 was when I had another surgery. To the that air that time the area that was targeted was around my intestines, that area. And then after that, I had a couple months to recover, and then I started chemo again. So this time I started chemo around COVID time actually. So I did 15 infusions that time, right? 15 infusions. Then I had a break, and then recently I've just completed 10 10 sessions of radiation.
Wow, that sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot. I'm now wondering, now I understand why the term is cancer warrior as compared to cancer patient, like we were discussing offline, because I didn't know how to actually refer to someone who currently has cancer. It's there's a lot of things you don't know unless you have someone who is close to you, you know?
Yes,
So, first of all, you are definitely a warrior. Based on your
thank
story,
you.
you're saying that you had cancer, the cancer was gone post surgery, and then you're finding out that it's spread to other parts of your body.
Yes.
Wow. And how did you find the strength to remain positive? And I ask that because I know a lot of times when it comes to recovering from certain diseases, there's studies that say one of the most important things is really having a positive mindset and believing that you can be healed. Was that a factor for you during this whole process?
Yes, I always say that I believe the mind has the power to heal the body. And I've literally seen, because I've met a lot of people throughout my journey with cancer. I've met a lot of other people fighting the disease. And I always say that I've met persons who I think sadly they died because I feel as though you're in pain, you're scared, everything hurts. It's very hard to keep a positive mindset during these times. And I think that sometimes some people gave up, like mentally, and then you just saw the effect it took on their body, and
Mm,
then little or no time later they passed, they succumbed to the disease. So I look at people and I try to say, you know what, let me try the other thing. So let me try to, if the doctor told me today that okay, the cancer is in my lungs, then I'm gonna say, well, at least it's not in my liver. I think that every there's always a silver lining that you can grab onto that can help you get through something, because because if you also always dwell on the negative, then I don't think that does no good for you, so then just grab onto what could actually help you.
Indeed. Now, the book Scarred But Not Broken is on Amazon. And in that little blurb, when you read the description, you basically say, God has been good to me. And it gives a little bit more about saying, hey, there's so many things that have happened, but I'm here to show you that you can come out of it, right? Now, tell us about your relationship with God and spirituality and how that has played in you remaining positive and strong during your journey with cancer.
Okay, so I am the last of 9 children, and my parents are married and they're both still alive. So we grew up in, well, I grew up in an Adventist house. So some of my siblings were already born, when my parents converted, and so. But my last sister, Desiree, and I, we were basically born and raised in an Adventist household, and so we grew up with Christian background from since little girls, being active in church and just, and I saw God's hand really, really, really powerfully for me throughout all the years I've been dealing with this disease. And without God, I will not be here today, because every time I get a new diagnosis, or every time I need something, or every time the doctor said, okay, the cancer is back and it's in this area now or it's in that area now, there's always something that can be done. And I never have to wait months or years to get something done. It always happens like this, and it does not always give the results that we would want, because, I'm still here after all these years and I'm still dealing with cancer. But I'm still here, God has prolonged my life, whereas many people, including my brother, had succumbed to the disease. And I cannot say that God, has not worked, because a lot of people, when you hear God, you think, okay, God, I want this to happen, and you just believe that, okay, because this is not what happened right when you ask for it, that God is not good. But His will be done. And His will may not always be your will, but at the same time, you just have to allow Him to play things out in your life. And I've let go, and I've just allowed things to flow, and see how God plays people, plays doctors, plays situations, just place things in my life so that things can work out. Because every time I see a new doctor, they say to me that people with ovarian cancer very rarely survive this long. And on top of that, I have a rare form of cancer that there is no clear-cut path to treatment. For instance, they always say to me, if you had the other type of, ovarian cancer, you might have already been healed, or you might have already been in a better place than, you are right now. But the one that you have is the one that, they're still discovering and still trying to figure out, how to treat. But I'm still thankful that, hey, there is at least something that they can do, even if it's to keep the disease at bay. So I always feel like you can always look and you can always see God's hand shining through.
That is amazing. So definitely you are blessed, even though you're going through so much with your health, is what I'm hearing. And it's good that you're holding true to your faith. Now, because as we mentioned earlier, of course, so many of us don't know exactly how to relate, what to say. Were there some things in terms of your experience, like some of the wrong things to say to someone who is dealing with the disease?
Very a lot of over the years, I've heard so many things. Initially, one of the symptoms that shows up when before you a sign of ovarian cancer would be like a high tummy. And I've always been saying I'm a naturally slim person, and I had a high tummy. And as I said, Adventist background, and people were going around saying, oh, it's a typical Grenadian sometimes, oh, look at big church girl, and they're pregnant and whatnot. Or when I had to start doing chemotherapy, everybody was calling my house, speaking to my mom and being like, "Oh, she's not gonna survive. Don't let her do that. Chemo is the worst thing you could ever do. Her fingernails gonna fall off. This gonna fall off." Or even after I had started treatment, I was bald for maybe 9 months, and I would still go out and about, and people would sometimes be pointing at me and laughing, or just stopping and staring and making you feel badly. But at the end of the day, you know what? I knew what I was doing, and I knew why I was doing it, so I just let it all go over my head.
Wow, thank God for your strength to survive all of that, because sometimes people can be insensitive but not even
Right.
conscious of it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? As you say, there's some things in our culture we love to comment about weight and pregnant and all sorts of things when you just never know what some people are going
You
through,
don't
right?
know.
Or what conditions they
Yep.
have. Yeah, that is
Yep.
crazy. And thanks for telling us that. Now, has this affected any of your relationships? And I don't mean necessarily romantic relationships, but friendships, family relationships, or otherwise. How has this whole experience changed, if it has changed relationships for you?
Um, so my siblings and I are very close. As I said, I'm the last of nine. And apart from just God just being there for me, without the siblings that I have and the parents and the family that I've been put in, there is no doubt that I wouldn't be here today, because they always go over and beyond for me. Like, it doesn't matter what it is that, the doctors say that I need, or even if it's on an off chance or like on a maybe, they would still go out of their way to get it done for me, or put me in that situation where I can get what I need. So, in terms of my siblings, I have literally no complaints. Like, they are the absolute best. And as I said, I lost a brother to cancer, which is so unfortunate, but he fought. My friends, I have friends who had become family because they stood strong for me. Like, I've never even expected, the amount of support and just love that poured out. Even moving here, the people that I've met along my journey being here, I've never expected it. Even during the COVID times, remember I said I was doing chemotherapy during COVID, during the pandemic, and people would just show up to drop me off at the hospital, and so because you don't want to be taking public transportation, and so in terms of that, people have been awesome. Romantic relationships, yes, it has, because of my surgeries, I've had a complete hysterectomy, so I am unable to have children. So some guys, I would say to somebody who has any interest in dating me, I would explain my medical situation to them, and I would tell them exactly what's happening, because I don't want to, put different people can handle different things, and that's okay. Different people want different things out of life. So for instance, if you want to date me, I'll let you know, just on the off chance that we do become something, I cannot have children and this and that. So yes, I've had instances where I've stopped seeing guys, a few guys because of that, but that's okay, because as I said, different people want different things out of life. But currently now, yes, I'm dating someone who is very supportive of my, medical situations and so on. So, they're again within there lies a blessing. So thank God for that.
Oh, that's good. And condolences. I'm sorry to hear about your brother,
Thank
to you
you.
and your family. Yeah. Now, let's talk a little bit about early detection. Earlier, you mentioned about, having symptoms. You had no idea what those symptoms were linked to, and you ended up finding out that
Hmm.
you were in stage 3 at that time. Um, what would you say to people to ensure that there is some sort of early detection? Like, what would we have to do to prevent finding out that you have cancer at a later stage?
So I would say always pay attention to your bodies, right? And apart from that, you just need to have your regular PAPs, and so have your regular checks from your doctors. I'll tell you the symptoms that I had. Um, so as I said, my stomach was high, so I was bloating. The frequency in urination, fatigue, just always being tired, even if you've just gotten up, you're still tired. And what else? Oh, chronic, like really, really bad back pains. Like, your back will literally just feel like someone just took a hammer to it, like it would hurt so much. But then again, too, I guess it depends on, how far along you've progressed. So I would just say, pay attention to your bodies and get your regular checks. Yeah. Have a good relationship with your gyno so that you be on top of things.
Right. Shout out to your little lights going on, your light situation. I like your light situation there. And Crystal is actually in the building. Hey, Crystal, thank you so much for linking us because we're having this conversation thanks to you. So, yeah,
Yes.
Crystal's in the building. Yeah, so of course we
She's
just
my cousin.
mentioned. Oh, she is. Okay, nice.
Yes.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. And in terms of diet prevention, is there anything that one can do in terms of preventing getting a chronic disease? Because what we hear about chronic disease is that a lot of it can be prevented based on, of course, your genes, because genes has something to play in part with it as well. Have you had to change your diet in any way?
So I did it on my own. It wasn't as instance where the doctor said to me, well, yes, they do tell you, to avoid the sodas and to avoid this. But in terms of becoming like full vegan or going full vegetarian, that was just a decision that I made with my family and so. But yes, I have been dieting heavily over the years, and I have met nurses and doctors who said to me, whatever it is you're doing, continue doing it, because it's making a difference. So I would say yes, dieting does help.
Awesome. Now let's talk about your creative process. So you've gone through this journey over the last few years. What made you decide to put it into a book?
Um, so I've always been artistic, right? I've always been painting, the crocheting, the sewing, anything that I can get my hands on to keep me occupied, I would dabble in it. But I've never seen myself as a writer actually. And it was during the chemo process, the most recent one, and I was having a very hard time. And I was texting my girlfriend Burnett back home, and I was saying, things are really bleak for me right now. And she was like, Bev, why don't you try just writing your feelings, putting your feelings to paper, and so I did, and it just it became a book, and then I continued writing, and I said to my sisters and my brothers and so, like, hey, I think I'm writing a book, and they were really supportive, and I just continued writing, and then here we have a book.
Awesome. Now, what are some of the details in the book? Of course, we don't have much time because this is a short interview, but what are some of the things that people can look forward to get in this book that's over 100 pages long, by the way?
um so it's very open and it's very raw in terms of my feelings throughout this entire process, to the point where my siblings are like they are unsure if they can read the book, because certain things, and certain feelings that I've had over the years, I didn't even share those with them because I tend to shield them all the time. I only let them know exactly what they need to know, and sometimes I keep things to myself, and they're always mad at me for that. But so it's very open. It shows how good God is. Definitely, it shows how good having a strong support system is, and how having good people, sometimes when you feel like, ugh, can't really do this anymore, but then you have people who can hold your hand and pull your ahead and say, let's go, we're not stopping. And it just shows how good it is to listen to that inner voice as well, because that little voice in my head has been guiding me throughout the years and has never led me astray. And I would always say to people, that little voice in your head, it's very, very important. So yeah, and I lots of little things. over the years that stood out for me are just what fell into there and just stuck. So hopefully all those things combined together can help someone, throughout whatever journey they're going through.
I'm certain that it will. Now, you're on Amazon, so congratulations. That's a big deal, ma'am. It's a big deal.
Thank you.
So tell us, how
Thank
can we get
you.
our hands on the book? Of course, there's the link. I've already shared it on the Upstage TV show page, as well as the ride along link right there. So you can click that link and go straight to Amazon to get the book. And you can get the physical copy as well as the Kindle version, right?
Yes, yes, you can.
Okay. And of
And
course, you
I've sent a
know
shipment back home.
perfect, perfect.
Yes,
So you let us know when and how we can get our hands on the copy when it's in
definitely.
Grenada, and we'll be more than happy to share that for you on the Upstage TV show Facebook
Thank you.
platform. So y'all stay tuned, because I don't know about you, but I want to hear even more about your story, and also just to support a fellow Grenadian creative. There's that as well. We buy books and we read books from all over the world, sometimes with cultures and people who don't even look like us, that it's also important for us to digest content from our very own as well. So that's good. We're looking
Yes.
forward to that shipment. When it coming, like next month? When can we expect the shipment of
Um,
Scarred But Not Broken?
so it has left here about a week and a few days. So maybe 2 weeks tops, just for safety. It should be home.
Perfect, perfect. Now the name of the book and the artwork. Mm, talk to us about the artwork. Did you paint that,
No,
or
n- no, so initially it was my brother Leslie. He was like, "Babe, you should paint the cover," because so on my stomach I have a very long scar from my surgeries, and so it was always my intention to do a painting that shows that area, so hence the scarred in the title. But my niece's husband, he recently finished school as a graphic designer. So I said to him, you know what, Joe, throw some ideas together for me. Let me see what you would come up with, because as a creative you want to get ideas from all over to see what works well, what works best for you, and what brings across the idea that you want. And the minute he sent it to me, I was like, yeah, no, Joe, that's what we're gonna go with, because I just loved the whole concept so much, and the way that he still showed the scar, but then he still showed the life, still present in the young lady. I just loved it. So yeah, that his name is Joseph Barrett, right? And he is brilliant. He's just brilliant.
yeah, it really is lovely. And for those of you who haven't seen it, if you go to our
Mm-hmm.
page, it's in the flyer that we did for this live interview. It's a woman in a silhouette, and of course she has her afro hair, and it
Mm-hmm.
really shows like the scars you were talking about. I didn't even
Mm-hmm.
realize that it depicts scars, but it makes the
Yes.
meaning even,
Mm-hmm.
deeper when you explain it that way. So I love the cover,
Yes.
and I'm sure we're all going
Mm-hmm.
to love the book when we get our hands on it.
Yes. Thank you so much for this. It is really beautiful.
For sure. And you're a beautiful person. You're very strong, and we're all here with you. If you just read
Thank you.
these comments all feel like hugs right now. So big up to everyone who is sending love out to Beverly right now. Be sure to continue that love, because she has a book out, and you can definitely get your hands on that book. The link is in the video description. It is on Amazon. It's called Scarred But Not Broken, and it's written by Beverley Reena Joseph, a Grenadian woman who is doing her thing. And we just want to send so much healing energy to you right now. Of course, keep strong in your journey at the moment with cancer, and we're really hoping that you recover, if that's the right thing to say. I'm not sure, but if
Yeah,
we're hoping that you
it
recover,
is.
right? That you heal from that as soon as possible. And we really encourage you to stay positive. And I think your positivity has infected us in ways that you may never imagine. So thank you so much for being open with us tonight.
There's no problem at all. Thank you for having
For sure. Y'all, we were just talking to Beverly. She's still in the building, so we are talking to Beverly, but the conversation is over.
me.
It can continue in the comments for sure. Stay tuned to Upstage TV show, and we'll let you know when those books touch Grenada so that we can all get our hands on a copy, okay? And in the meantime, you can check Amazon. For those of you who are Kindle readers, you can get it there. And of course, also, you can get your physical copy delivered to you as well if you order on Amazon right now. The book is available. Congratulations, Beverly, and thank you so much for joining us at Upstage Rewind.
Thank you. All right. Thank
Bye,
you for having
y'all.
me.
For sure, for sure.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Toodles, join us next time.